Hey internet friends, it's hard to believe that we're approaching the 2-year mark of 2 weeks to slow the spread. When entire countries sealed their borders, schools went virtual, caution tape was put up all over playgrounds, sand was poured at skate parks, beaches were closed, park gates were locked, and small businesses were ordered to come to a halt. The general public began to see each other as a threat. People started wearing masks and staying 6 feet apart, all in the name of public safety. Meanwhile, huge corporations like Amazon were given the okay to stay open, so people wouldn't have to leave their homes to get their goods. They could just be delivered to their door. And even though gyms and churches were ordered to shut their doors, Walmarts were wide open, with certain sections taped off to deter purchases of things like vegetable seeds and survival gear. In fact, according to this article published on January 17, 2022, quote, "The 10 richest men in the world doubled their funds during the pandemic, increasing from approximately $700 billion to $1.5 trillion between March 2020 and November 2021. The incomes of approximately 99% of people around the globe fell during this time, and more than 160 million people have been forced into poverty." End quote. According to the Forbes real-time data on billionaires, the world's publicly, emphasis on publicly, richest men are Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bernard Arnold and family, Bill Gates, Larry Ellison, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Ballmer, and Warren Buffett. Quote, "The calculations also indicate that the wealth of the world's billionaires has increased more since COVID-19 began than it has in the last 14 years. Billionaires have had a terrific pandemic. Central banks pumped trillions of dollars into financial markets to save the economy, yet much of that has ended up lining the pockets of billionaires riding a stock market boom. If the 10 richest men in the world were to lose 99% of their wealth, they would still be richer than 99% of all the people on this planet." End quote. Full disclosure, the article I'm reading from goes on to explain that taxation is the only answer to this economic divide, which I think is funny. These big corporations who line the pockets of politicians, they were all allowed to stay open while they openly mocked us, repeating this whole spell of trust the science, hun. So no, I don't think more government involvement from demonic politicians will help the situation at all, unless you want to make it worse. We don't really have a government. We have corporations who have their representatives sit in a room and tell us how things are gonna go. The more I explain this, the more I repeat this, the less patient I become. Like, if you don't see this by now, I don't know what to tell you. I think you need to click off this video, unsubscribe, go sit in your car with your mask, whatever you need to do. Because I've been saying this for years. I'm not the only one. They did this on purpose. It was a smash and grab. It was the greatest exchange of wealth in all of history since the Federal Reserve took over in the early 1900s. And mark my words, they will keep up this pandemic, this scamdemic, as long as possible, as long as they have your consent, because they're profiting. And guess what? They'll call you a nutter for suggesting such a conspiracy. This was never about your health. And most of you watching, you know that. But for those of you watching who, this is new news, are you paying attention yet? And having money isn't about having wads of cash in your pocket, buying the latest sports car, getting some water feature added to your pool. Money is about influence. I've been covering this phenomenon with the pandemic ever since over 1,000 CEOs of major companies and corporations stepped down right before it all hit the fan back in January of 2020. Almost like they were tipped off, and they all slithered back to whatever fresh hell from whence they came. Not once did I ever venture across an article stating middle-class Americans were enhancing their wealth during this time. Not once, not ever. Your government shut down your economy, your livelihood, and wrote you a $1,000 check a couple times in an effort for you to forget about it. To lull you into silence, to trick you into a state of complacency, all while fanning the flames of fear to control the masses in the biggest psychological operation in the history of mankind. All to make you think this was about your health. It was never about your health. It was about their wealth, though. Their influence, this whole stupid financial reset we're all living through at their mercy. That's how it's going at this rate anyway. Not to be a downer, not to say there isn't a potential to flip the script. But I'm so over trying to get people to see what's right in front of them when they're just going along with it at their own peril. Maybe this is why it's been so hard to make a video lately. I've started so many only to trash them. I keep thinking about the people who shriek, "Eat the rich," who are constantly blubbering on about how evil corporations are. And I see those same people at the grocery store. They're the first ones lining up to be the guinea pigs of Big Pharma. They're the ones rolling up their sleeves. What are we on? The third, fourth booster, all with the promise of returning to normal? How many times do they have to fool you in order for you to realize you've been fooled? Also, you can get your vaccine at the grocery store, and then afterward you can go shopping for some Monsanto Roundup bread at a 300% markup from last year. If you can even find any at all, because empty shelves are becoming commonplace. Not to be a Debbie Downer or anything, but I'm just saying, quit playing their game. That's the only way forward. I swear, if you live near me and you're not weird, let's do a community garden. I can shovel dirt with the best of them. It's just a matter of getting your friends and neighbors together and hiring a teacher for your children. Building your own wealth within your own communities. So we can quit being at the mercy of these psychopaths. They only have influence because they have your attention, which they acquired by scaring you with relentless news coverage and conditioning you throughout your most developmental years to believe they have any kind of claim to your freedom. We all die anyway. We all die. Every single one of us, eventually. And they've made the majority afraid to live. Meanwhile, they're robbing us all blind. I'm just so over it. Truly, I don't want to make another video about them getting rich. By the way, they're getting richer. This is what all these videos are like. I mean, are you over it too? Let me know. Let me know what you think, internet friends. I always look forward to reading your comments. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for supporting my channel on Patreon. Bye.